No! No! Or some shit like that. This is the Manga Raiders Community Happy Hour. The 12 days of Christmas. Maybe it's day 10. Maybe
10 sounds good.
10 sounds pretty good. This is an exciting gift in your stocking. But why would you look at your stocking stuff before Christmas? No, that's not how it works.
Could be. I don't know. Stocking procedure is different for people. You know.
I guess, but like stocking is like what Santa is supposed to put, right? So you wouldn't just like have a stocking laying around with stuff in it.
I suppose not.
I'm wondering, like, who came up with the idea of a stocking anyway? Like, isn't that kind of weird when you think about it, that you just leave a sock that would be filled with stuff?
I would want to think, because it's hung over the fireplace. Maybe, you know, it's wintertime, you're traipsing around in the snow, you got snow on your boots, your socks get wet, hang them over the fireplace to get them dried out.
That does make sense thematically, actually, and then maybe you're drying your socks out, and the jolly old man comes by and pops a frickin' chocolate bar in your dirty, sweaty, disgusting socks.
And there are certainly, you know, versions of Santa Claus around the world that leave things in shoes.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. You know what really weirded me out is there was this magazine, I don't know if you ever heard about it, it's called Chickadee, and there was like, it was one of those things where there's a picture of like Santa Claus putting a magazine in his stocking, and then on the magazine cover was a picture of that picture. You know what I mean? So it's one of those infinite looping pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of messes with you, doesn't it?
I mean, I'm messed with. I'm considering myself messed with. Well, Santa and you. Manimal, are you Santa?
Ooh, we'll find out on day 12 when we find out if I'm Lego or not. I am the Manimal today, and joining me on this exciting occasion, it is Hair Buns.
That's me, Hair Buns. Perhaps you saw Hair Buns in Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, on the side of Princess Leia's head.
Maybe I did. That hasn't come out yet. We gotta wait till 1977.
Oh, man.
But we are gonna talk about well, I mean, it is a prequel, but that kind of ruins the joke when you put it that way.
A little bit. I'm sorry. I ruined it.
No, you didn't ruin it. I did. I ruined my own joke. We're talking about Rogue One. And
it's Rogue One.
Force Awakens, I guess, and then other stuff, too, that's related to Star Wars. So...
Yeah, we never did get around to doing a post-seeing Rogue One or Force Awakens last year.
Yeah, we never did that, so we can talk about that now and some other stuff. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers. The Death Star blows up. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
They
had a good run, though.
They had a good... Not really. Actually, when you think about it, that was what, like a week? Couple days?
About, maybe? Like, they shot it 3 times.
Okay, no. Yeah, let's think about it.
Between all things considered.
That's what Rogue One makes you think now, right? Because that movie takes place like 2 seconds before A New Hope, obviously.
Yeah.
You know? So...
spoilers. We should say out front.
I said spoilers earlier, so anyone who's listening...
But for real this time, guys. Spoilers.
So, okay, yeah, for real, spoilers. Anyway, so it takes place like 2 seconds before A New Hope. And, like, how long is A New Hope? Like, a couple days at most? You know?
Ooh, good point. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because there, you know, there's the sunset, and then he meets Ben, and...
There's a bit of a road trip.
Yeah, but still...
Who knows how long it takes between, you know... R2-D2 and C-3PO crashing down and getting found by Jawas.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing, too. So that is kind of weird when you think about it. They only used they had the Death Star for less than a month, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of shitty for them. That's weird. But yes, Rogue One has come out, and we watched it. So, we did. Really brief, what did you think of the film in one sentence?
Well, for those of us who could not be here, I'm specifically talking about Corin. He sent us a line His opinion was, this movie is the best first step Disney could have made in creating this new line of expanded universe stories.
That was Corin.
That was Corin.
Quote 2016. I'm going to frame it. Right next to Castro's last words. Rip Castro.
Rip him apart. Yes.
But okay, that was Corin. What about you?
Boy, this is the okayest Star Wars movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm not angry with it. There's a lot of parts that confuse me. I wish it was more fun. It had more to say.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of tell that this was assembled as a movie. It felt very safe.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of sterile. I wish it had more passion to it. You know, it's still good. As we're going to talk about, that last third act. Oh boy.
Okay.
That was some good stuff.
Yeah, and I'll say that I did enjoy the film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought it was good enjoyment, and the last act was incredible. How about we just talk about it like piece by piece then?
Yeah. When all cylinders are firing, this is a great movie. But unfortunately, there's a lot of times where it's just a one reactor shot.
Yeah, that is how it goes down. So yeah, scene by scene, number one, no opening scroll. I feel that was a good idea this time.
That was a good idea.
It separates it from the other films, and it also opened with a great shot, right? Because right away, it's just bam.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it kind of takes you out of it at first, because you expect it. You anticipate it automatically as soon as you see that text. But it was a good idea this time. And what happened in the beginning of the movie again?
We see Bad Man Imperial walking up to the house of the Urso family.
Yeah. So, again, this first part of the movie and then the next scene later, when the time skips, felt like it was from something else. Or almost like it wasn't expanded on enough what happened in the time between the two scenes there.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, yeah, first you got Jen as a kid, just chilling out. And then, what's that one guy's name? Soggy Rose. Soggy Rolls?
Our good friend Che Guevara.
Che Guevara?
No, Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera.
Played by Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, and then this guy comes, and then time skips, and then Jen is in some Imperial camp or something.
Well, I mean, he pops open her hidey hole.
Yeah.
Which is not a sexual thing. He just opens up the hole she's hiding in and goes, "Hey, I'm Saw Gerrera," or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard to hear what he has to say. I'm going to watch this movie again with captions.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that felt weird because it's like there was a part of the movie missing there. It was like, how did she get there? What's happening? Who is this guy? Did it even explain who that guy is and why he was wearing that?
It didn't explain, which I kind of liked that, you know, he has seen some shit that was showing, not telling.
Yeah, actually.
But then they had to say, "Oh, you're like my secondary father. You raised the protagonist." But it doesn't really feel that way.
Well, no, because
it?
At first it seems like he's some kind of imposing character, like some almost a villain, right?
Yeah, he's the crazy pants, too rebellious for the rebellion man.
Yeah, and so that was a little bit confusing, but yeah, and then what? We meet like I don't remember his name or the droid's name.
I want to take a moment. Name as many character names from this movie alone that you remember.
Okay, obviously new characters. All right. So, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Soggy Rosie.
Soggy Rosie.
That's it.
Are you telling me you don't remember the names Cassian Andor?
No.
Or Chirrut Imwe?
What? Did they even say that name in the movie?
Baze Malbus, possibly Baze Malbus.
What?
Orson Krennic.
Okay, I think
Bodhi Rook. These are all main characters. The new cast of Star Wars. I don't remember anyone's names.
Yeah, I think this is what Cinemassacre in there talking about it. In Force Awakens, you have
Poe and
Poe,
Finn
and Rey.
Rey. These are all solid one-syllable names.
Yeah.
Han, Luke, Leia. Oh
Perfect.
man, that's advanced.
That's a dream
Ben.
right there, right?
Even Obi-Wan Kenobi rolls off the tongue and is.
It does.
They make a special point to call each other by their names many times. And, I remember Jyn Erso, or her dad, Papa Orso.
Yeah,
I don't remember his first name, but he's also an Urso.
Yeah, but that's all. That's it. That's all I remembered. Yeah.
But I think that says a lot also about the characters as characters.
Yes.
Because I remember K2SO.
Yeah, and he was cool. I liked him. He was, the most likable character in the movie.
He was. K2SO and the two knights that they meet.
Yeah, so they meet
are the three most fun and memorable characters in the movie, and also the movie would not change if you removed them, to be honest.
Well, there'd be that one scene with the droid, remember, when he's and the stormtroopers are coming? And he's
true.
Something was changed there. So he had a purpose, but the other guys. Well, no, that Chinese guy flicked the switch too.
He flicked the switch in a scene that needed a switch to be flicked.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he did something.
He did something. Well, he provided levity is the thing.
Yeah, and
an action scene that
a badass action scene. Mm-hmm. But
that was a really good scene though.
It added a cool element to the mystique of the Force too. Mm-hmm. Like, does this guy have it? Probably not. But
I mean, he this is the guy who never got formally trained as a Jedi.
Yeah,
but he's still got something going on. He repeatedly chants, "I am one with the Force is with me. I am one with the Force is with me."
I didn't like that chant. That felt weird every time someone said it.
Yeah, it felt weird.
Yeah. But no, his partner was really cool too. I like their friendship dynamic they had together.
Yeah, the blind one saying, the Force saves me, and his friend saying, "No, I save you. You just don't see it."
See, again, that's kind of like show don't tell in a way, right? These guys have done stuff together, but I mean, well, I don't know actually what they've done, but
well, I mean, they said they guarded the temple that hold the crystals that powers the Death Star, but then they took all the crystal anyways, so they're just kind of hanging out.
I don't remember that. Okay, and then the thing, you have like the main dude who's like Mexican or something.
That is Diego Luna playing Cassian Andor, who is a rebel, I guess. They needed one of those.
There was a very confusing part in the beginning where some guy tells him something and he kills him. It's like, what does this have to do with the rest of the film? I guess it shows that like he's not exactly a good guy.
No. Like the crippled man says, "Hey, they're onto us. We got to run away." But I can't run away because I'm just too crippled. And our hero, Diego Luna, just kind of shoots him after saying, "Don't worry, we'll be fine." And then he shoots him so, crippled man wouldn't tell. And then he skedaddles, and that's the end of the scene. All we know is he's kind of he's not a good guy. Rebellions are rebellious.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it adds that dynamic to it, but it felt, again, parts of this movie were like they're from a different movie.
You want to know a character who I kept thinking I didn't need to remember this person?
Who?
Was the Imperial pilot, who they really only ever call Imperial Pilot, because there's 3 different times where we just are shown him being hurried away or led to death.
Yeah.
And then I think, okay, we don't need to remember this guy no more. He didn't succeed. And then he comes back, and then he's crazy, and then he's not.
Yeah, he's crazy for like 2 seconds, and then he snaps right out of it.
Well, I mean, maybe not right out of it, and I'm still not sure if he's there 100% by the end of the movie. But
well, yeah. Well, no, he's not there 100%. He's 100% disintegrated at the end. But
well, so is the entire main cast. But
this is basically Halo Reach Star Wars edition.
Kind of,
like literally, because Halo Reach is like 1 second before the first Halo game, and all the characters die. It's like exactly parallel with that in a way.
There's a lot of fan service in this movie.
Yeah.
And
So
I
yeah,
do
that's
think in some way fan service is the best part because they've
Mhm.
elevated the positions of everyone we know and love already to the point where
No.
we don't get a lot of cool stuff for our main cast to do or
That's
get invested
unfortunate.
in.
When you think about the movie, you think like, oh, Darth Vader, and oh, the old ships.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
seeing the old stuff looking better than it's
X-Wings!
ever looked before.
Is that
And
an
it's amazing.
AT-AT?
Yeah, and especially when you see like Yavin 4 again, and oh my god, I mean Yavin 4 still looked amazing in A New Hope especially for the time. But
Oh man, someone brought out a wax figure of Princess Leia. And
yeah,
look,
okay.
it's creepy, uncanny valley Moff Tarkin.
Do you want to talk about that right now?
Corin says they look fine. I thought Leia was okay, but that's because we got about 2 seconds to look at her before she
Now-
says hope and then disappears.
Yeah, again, we have Tarkin and Leia in the CGI motion capture kind of thing. And when they show Tarkin at first, it's super cool, right? Because he's just from behind, and you know who he is.
Oh yeah.
So you're like, oh, that's him. But yeah, as soon as he turned around, there was kind of like, okay. But then the more his face moved, it looked like a game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously you're never going to get that. It's still some of the most impressive CGI I've ever seen.
It has come a long way since like Tron Legacy or even in Ant-Man when we see it very early on in younger Hank Pym.
Well, yeah, it definitely has, right? But it's still not perfect. And
No.
And there's
No.
so much. There was so much of him in it.
There was, and I gotta say, I liked that part because having the Imperial infighting be a big, this is kind of their weakness is all the people nipping at each other for bits of power and notoriety.
Yeah.
Is what led to their downfall ultimately, but also it led them to have more character. I thought the villain was more, I don't want to say sympathetic, but you could have spun this whole thing as a tragedy of bureaucracy towards main villain guy whose name I don't remember, but he has a cape.
Yeah, when you think about it in the end, when he gets defeated too, there was like more of a, I don't know what you'd call it. I don't want to say more of an arc, but more of a thing with the general characterization.
It was a tragedy from his perspective.
Yeah, and you really felt that, which I think that actually the explanation they gave for the Death Star was pretty fine,
Yeah.
You have this guy who doesn't want to do it. He's like, screw you guys.
I love the point that he made of they could have done it without me. But since they didn't know that yet, I just kept playing along and kind of sabotaged it. Here's how you blow it up.
That's actually a really
But you'll
good
need the
explanation.
plans.
Yeah. Because obviously when George Lucas... Oh my god. I said his name. Why can I not say S words? This is like a national problem.
I don't know.
It's a national problem.
All of Canada can't pronounce the letter S?
George Lucas. He probably didn't think about this in 1977. Again,
Maybe not.
It's probably just like, there's a thing and it blows up.
There's a hole and you put it in there and everything goes kablooey.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a good way of adding something to that. And again, the biggest cool factor in this movie is seeing the old stuff again. But this is the best looking Star Wars movie there is. Obviously.
I think they nailed the aesthetic real good.
Because let's talk about some of the last act. That space battle was beyond incredible.
Yeah, because I got my issues with the first 2/3 of the movie, but when they finally get to Beach Paradise Planet, it turns into a much better movie.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's absolutely incredible. Because this is the first Star Wars movie that's like, hey, it's really like a war.
I'm not gonna go ahead and agree with that.
Well, okay, obviously, Clone Wars. Fair enough. And would you say Return of the Jedi? That was more kind of goofy, though.
It was goofy, but I don't know. I was thinking more of Episode 3 and that first fight at the beginning where they're just zipping around the planet. And
that was an incredible opening. Yeah, but the thing with this, obviously, is without Jedi, it's more I don't know what you'd call it. More worry. Oh god.
More grounded.
Yeah, and it was really cool to see all that again. And this space battle when like the 10 billion TIE fighters come out at once.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then when they ram the Star Destroyers together. Oh.
That was cool.
And again, it all looked so good. That one Star Destroyer looked kind of weird, eh? The one that was like really lit up. Did that stick out?
Yeah.
To you, or?
There are some moments where they're using the old. I'm not sure if they're the exact old props, but old effects, old costumes that when you do it with a newer camera and much better lighting, it looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like I thought Darth Vader's suit looked a lot more plasticky and I'm not going to say goofy, but this was...
It looked...
They nailed it in authenticity. Yes. But it looks different now.
It looked way too glossy for me. That first scene kind of threw me off a little bit because first, I mean, it was kind of interesting to see him in the back ever without his like chest piece on and stuff, you know? Because before you just be like, oh yeah, I guess he never takes it off, but I guess he does. But yeah, then when he came out, it was cool, but the suit was a little too glossy, I guess.
It looks very shiny, very...
And, well, obviously James Earl Jones is getting old. He can't do the voices perfect.
No, but boy howdy, you can tell it's him.
Yeah. Again,
and it feels cool to see Darth Vader in action doing stuff.
Oh my god, that one scene where he destroys the rebels is so amazing.
If you want to talk about fan service that works real good, that part where he's just kind of, no, get out of my way, you're dead, you're dead, give me the chip.
Again, that's what was amazing. I was like, I'm watching Darth Vader on the big screen again, and this is stuff that I've never seen. It's not, you know what I mean? It was like...
This movie is kind of a double-edged sword, because boy, it looks good on a big screen, but you really can't tell what a lot of people are saying.
I know.
Looking at you, Forrest Whitaker's Saw Gerrera.
Oh god, yeah. Again, it's like I didn't hate the first half. I still thought it was fine, but there were definitely issues with tone and overall cohesion, and like there was still a couple of fun hijinks they got up to and everything. But it's just the third act totally overshadowed everything when it comes to this movie, because it was absolutely incredible. I almost shed a tear at the end because I was like, "Oh my god, Star Wars!"
Because everyone dies.
Well, no, not because of that, but because it was like, "Oh my god, I'm seeing this," you know, all this stuff in action like that. But yeah, of course, it's kind of sad, I guess, that was kind of expected, though. I thought, but I don't know what to say about it overall. Do you think that it was necessary?
Well, no, it wasn't necessary. I think the whole idea of annual Star Wars installments is going to hurt in the long run and water down everything.
I saw
but this one was okay.
I saw someone say this. I kind of agreed, you know. We're all going to die, so why not just make the most as possible, eh?
Yeah, but looking back at like the first few Marvel movies, if we're going to compare Disney properties they're doing, the first two they had were Iron Man and Hulk, which I still think the first Iron Man movie is really good, but nobody even really remembers Hulk.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
I mean, I think they'll start coming into it. I'm really excited for the next episode that's not going to be J.J. Abrams.
Oh, it's not J.J. on episode 8.
No, I think there's this weird mixture of like with Force Awakens where they're trying to get the tone and feeling of Star Wars so hard that they don't really have a good plot of its own. And with Rogue One, they've got the aesthetics down and they've got an idea of their own story, but they don't have the Star Wars, I don't know, joy.
Yeah,
like, this is a bleak movie. If we're comparing it to past Gareth Edwards movies of like the Godzilla or even Monsters, of there is a plot here, it's interesting, but I don't give a poop because these characters are bland and boring.
I don't give a poop.
The protagonists are not the most interesting people on the screen.
Yeah, I know. I definitely see what you mean there, but I thought with Force Awakens the cast was fine in that movie. I thought they were decently likable and
Yeah.
everything was all right there. I like
Oh,
Force
they were
Awakens
very
a
likable.
lot myself. I thought it was a great film, but
I
you didn't.
got some issues with it, but that's more. Force Awakens to me felt too much like the first part of a larger series, and I don't know. As a self-contained movie, I don't think it holds up nearly as well as
I see what you mean.
other things.
Well,
Because
yeah.
like it borrows little bits of all the other past movies in terms of, the plot or the fact that Finn doesn't really get a resolution because he ends up in a tank in the end without really saying goodbye to Rey or any of that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Finn was fun, but kind of all over the map. I think
once they
Rey
stop,
is certainly, in my mind, a bit of a Mary Sue, where she gets powers out of nowhere without much
that is kind of true as well.
any training. At least Luke got the crash course in the Force before he was
Well, yeah, he had Obi-Wan.
still getting bodied by higher up Jedi.
Yeah. Well, and I guess, and then he had Yoda and everything else like that later. But, what was I gonna say? I think obviously it's nice to have the fan service and nostalgia stuff, but once they stop doing that, I think everything will be better. Actually,
Yes.
when it can actually stand on its own as something more than, oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
Like,
I want Rey
the
to do
Tatooine
more
bar.
things than try to find Luke Skywalker. I think she's less.
Yeah.
I think she's hindered as a character because who she is related to is a major crux and mystery within the scheme of the movie.
Yeah. I see
If
what
they
you mean.
just said she was Rey Skywalker or Rey Kenobi, I think that would be more interesting.
Yeah, to just fully go out and reveal the big thing.
But knowing that she's, just a kid in the desert planet who has superpowers, the last person, I mean, that's how all the other people have started out. But
Yeah.
we know
But
right
at
away
least-
what their
I
deal
see what you
is.
mean. Like with Luke, obviously, because he's a Skywalker, so it makes sense that he'd have that. But Rey, like, what is she? Yeah. But I don't know. Again, I think I don't really mind the yearly installments. Of course, right now, because we've only had 2, so it's still like, oh man, I've seen this,
Yeah.
And I don't think that it'll. Well, unless it gets really bad, then I won't mind, because I kind of like the idea of the extended universe movies as long as they're fun and they have something to offer. Because at least this movie
And I think
kinda
they
had
do.
something there. Yeah,
They've both had fun, new ideas. They're all, I think, chained pretty heavily to Star Wars, which is not honestly as broad a scope as I think a lot of people were hoping for them to treat it, because they're still shackled to Skywalker's doing things.
I guess so. They're still like the original.
They still got to have
characters focus on
stormtroopers
everything.
and AT-ATs and TIE fighters and X-Wings.
Yeah.
They can put a different coat of paint on them, but, I want new and people who don't matter. Give me more Finn and Poe.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That would be. Well, maybe we're not ready for that yet, I guess. We gotta know that they can make good films, and then they gotta get in their own groove somehow, really.
True. I guess I don't know what I want from Star Wars, because I'm kind of good on Star Wars.
I mean, in reality, we don't need these movies. We could have just stayed how it is.
True.
Because everything was complete and nice and fine, but I won't complain at what they do. As long as it doesn't suck.
Yeah, I know Corin is a lot more excited, because he's a lot more invested in Star Wars, I believe. So, since it's not explicitly my bag, I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
again, Star Wars is like the ultimate movie thing for me. Absolutely number one, no question. Because I'm not really a movie person, but that's like the thing, right? But
But if
yeah, I'm
Saw
not as
Gerrera
into it,
says,
but-
I'm tired of running, and just sits in an explosion, I'm going to go, we've known you for 30 minutes. What are you running from? I thought you were the super rebellious guy, too rebellious for the rebellion. Why are you just sitting still?
Yeah, that
And
was
all
a
the
bit
time it
puzzling.
took for Ray's dad to talk about how much he loves Ray in his message. Couldn't he have just gone, okay, no, here's how you blow it up.
Excuse me, Jen's dad. Wrong movie.
Wait, yeah, Jen Erso. Who could forget the unforgettable Jen
The
Erso?
unforgettable, undeniable.
We don't know why she's in prison in the start, but I guess, I don't know.
Shoplifting.
That's at least showing and not telling, but maybe explain
Maybe it'd be nice to tell.
when they bust her out of prison and she says, no, I'm not going with you. Where the fuck else are you going to go? Jen
Yeah.
Erso, what's your plan here, Toots?
Yeah. Like I
Hey,
thought-
Imperial Pilot, are you okay? You got tentacle monstered. I
That
guess you're
was like-
important now.
Why did there have to be a tentacle monster in the movie?
I can't believe that, our main hero, Cassian Andor, had his crisis of faith of whether or not he should shoot the dad of Jen Erso, but then he didn't, and I guess he's a character. And that showed that they're friends. God, the
don't
robot was so
know.
fucking cool and funny.
I don't know.
Alan Tudyk being more things. Donnie Yen, you should have been more big.
Yeah. Again, for what it is, it's Star Wars. The last act is what makes it worthwhile. And it could have been 50 billion times worse.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, one thing. How could this movie be even worse? Usually you want to have points to fix things, but what would be the ruining factors?
I think it would have been worse if, rather than having all the characters die, because, we didn't get much time to spend with them, and I thought they were a little bit forgettable, but if you had them stay around, and everyone survived, and it was implied they kept doing great and wonderful things and great contributions, but you just never saw them again.
Oh,
They just were heroes.
yeah. They're just big heroes in the Star Wars universe that, where were they during anything else? Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't have even more cameos from other people, like CGI Billy D. Williams coming in going, I'm in this place, but I'm going to go to Cloud City.
Could you imagine if it just cut to Cloud City and he's just chilling?
Hey,
there was
Han,
no
do you want
reason
this
that-
Millennium Falcon? And then it has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
Yeah, he's just chilling in there and it just shows it just to get him in there. I thought that it was kind of cheap when they showed C-3PO, but he has to be there in every movie.
Yeah.
Some of the references were a bit cheap. They were just kind of like, hey, remember this?
Hey, Bail Organa, are you still friends with your space wizard weird friend?
Yeah.
Of course I am. Ho, 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 ho.
Okay, I didn't
It
mind
is cool
that
to see
part.
Bail Organa, though. I like Jimmy Smits.
That was cool. I thought that was a good part to have in the film. Because at least it was something from the prequels that they're acknowledging.
Yeah. They kind of went down the checklist of every possible reference you could make. I'm honestly surprised the Emperor didn't show up.
They totally faked you out in that one scene, though, when the cloak guy was walking. But I was like, that's not him. It can't be. And then it wasn't.
Darth Vader was real cool, though.
Yeah. Well, and again, anytime you get to see Vader on the big screen is an event.
Mm-hmm. And he wasn't just yelling, no!
What did you think of his cheesy line, though?
I kind of liked it. Him being just a sassy guy going,
Yeah.
careful you don't choke on your ambition.
I mean, I get it. He's said things akin to that before. But it just felt so out of place and weird. Especially the way that he turned back with his hand like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Odd.
I wanted a bit more levity in the movie. This movie wasn't what I was expecting. I kind of wanted more swab spy stuff. I love the part when they were in disguise on the beach planet,
Yeah.
or anytime the droid was just going, "These are my prisoners. I'm escorting them to prison.
That was great.
We'll take them off your hands for you." No. I've already come this far. We're good.
Yeah. No, that's the fun kind of Star Wars feel stuff. That was all the stuff in A New Hope when they're in the Death Star and everything.
At its best parts, I think Rogue One came real close and even got some of that Star Wars magic.
Yeah.
And those are the parts of this movie that I adore. I do like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's an awful lot. I think there were too many characters.
Well, definitely. Like you could have cut them down, definitely.
You could have easily just killed off the Imperial pilot. His bit wouldn't have needed to be there.
He hooked up the cable.
Okay, he hooked up the cable, and the other guy flipped a switch, both of which didn't even need to be plot points.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
thought the monk guys were okay. I thought they were, well, not okay. I thought they were great.
They were great. Mm-hmm.
But the default Imperial man who, talked about, hey, I've been doing this since I was 6.
Default Imperial man?
Or not default Imperial man, default Rebel man.
Okay, I got you.
Imperial guy with his, sweet-ass cape and death troopers. He was great.
Yeah. He had
I
character.
think, okay, have you already said what you thought would be a thing to make it worse?
I can't think of anything.
What do you think you would have done to make this movie better?
Okay, to make this movie better, there has to be more focus in the beginning. We gotta know who Jen is and why we should.
Yes.
We gotta know why she's on this freaking thing. For one, we gotta know more about this soggy Rosa guy.
Yeah.
There has to be something more there to give more reason to care and make more sense of the film.
Yeah, because Saw Gerrera had a great presence, but he just kind of
he had a
showed
cool
up.
outfit and everything. Like he was,
yeah,
he's cool in design, but what is he?
He said his piece and then moved on. Well, he didn't move on. He stayed right there while a planet got skimmed.
Yeah, so I think that if you, showed something more and had more of a consistent tone in general.
Yeah.
In the beginning, and again, had more of the fun bits. And I think that, you can't exactly chop down the main cast, I feel. Well, except for the pilot, perhaps. Yeah, maybe you can just take
maybe
the
if you
pilot
if you had Saw Gerrera hanging out with them from the start.
Okay, that might be something then.
His death would have meaning beyond, he's a weird guy who kind of tortured and interrogated a good guy.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting setup.
That confused me in the beginning. I was like, are these guys like good or bad? Like when there was like the terrorist attack or whatever, I was like, are these guys like now bad guys or what?
And they did a weird thing where, Jen said the rebellion hasn't helped me at all. They've been just as much of a pain in my side as the Empire. And they tried to paint everything as morally gray.
But they didn't do that very well.
No. There's so much distrust amongst the characters. And aside from K2SO coming around and saying, "You surprise me," no one else really has that moment to bond.
Yeah.
With original Star Wars, everyone got their sweet chilling out time. But aside from, hey, thank you for not sniping my dad. Oh, but I'm still pissed at you because you might have.
Yeah.
I guess they all bonded in the end, but it didn't really feel,
they all bonded
earned.
in death.
I guess they just kind of awkwardly hugged as they exploded together. It was like Pacific Rim, where there wasn't a romance, but I guess they were friends, except they also died.
Yeah, that was a thing that was also unnecessary, right? It's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, they like each other.
I don't think that was love. I think that was just,
not.
Good being with you.
I guess so. It is more of like, I guess we're gonna die, so let's hug.
I just want to,
yeah.
I want to be with another person right now.
Yeah. But,
moral support, not
well,
romance.
I guess that's really all there is to say about this film. It's not bad. I liked it. I enjoyed it. The ending's incredible.
Yeah, and again, even though I think they could have done better, they're feeling it out.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get a better director. We talked about how fan service can be a good and bad thing, and I think that's going to be cranked up to 11 if they do a young Han Solo.
Oh,
Or
God.
who wants to hear more about Boba Fett?
Then you're gonna have Boba Fett. You're gonna have Chewie. You're gonna have Kashyyyk. You're gonna have all that stuff.
Like, I would love to see more Obi-Wan, but that's just because I really like Ewan McGregor.
You're gonna have Jango Fett too. Do you think a Jango Fett would be in a Han Solo movie?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he'd have. Well, how old?
Because there's so
Han
much
Solo be?
expanded universe stuff that they have swept aside, but can still throw in piece by piece.
That can. Okay, wait. How old would Han Solo be when Jango died then?
Oh, I mean, how old is Boba Fett?
In my mind, Boba and Han are like the same age.
I kind of agree, and I figure if Luke was a wee bitty baby at the end of Episode 3, at most Han would have been, Boba's age.
Maybe. That was the ultimate thing that disappointed me back when Revenge of the Sith came out. I was like, there needs to be a Boba scene. I really hope that there'll be a scene where he just like repaints his armor or something. I was like really getting ready for that, and it didn't happen.
I hope they don't try to make the Boba Fett movie and Han Solo movie like the same thing, where they're childhood friends or smugglers and bounty hunters are the best of friends.
Oh, that'd be kind of cheesy, actually, right? Like,
would it be cheesy or would it be chewy?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, then you'd have Lando, maybe in there somewhere.
Yeah, like a Lando standalone movie of just the two of them doing some kind of like heist.
Could you imagine that if there's like a casino heist movie with them?
Oh, okay.
That'd
back
be
on.
Awesome, actually.
Back in.
That'd be awesome.
Just please don't.
No, that'd be awesome.
Make
don't you think?
Or no, I'm just talking about don't go overboard with fan service. Just tell a unique, fun story.
They should have different feels, definitely, if you're going to do a bunch of movies like this, you know.
In the same way that the Marvel movies have done, they're superhero films, but they touch on every genre.
Yeah, and the comics, the Star Wars Marvel comics do good with the standalone series and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I read a lot of those, and they're pretty decent. They tell stories from various parts, and it's a comic, so they can focus more on characters we don't know without having all the fan service and stuff in there.
Yeah, hell, get the guys from Rebels to write a movie. That's a well-written, fun show that does their own thing in the Star Wars continuity.
Well, I guess even Clone Wars was like that too, wasn't it? It had its own cast of characters in there.
I mean, it had a cast of characters where, like, one guy voiced half the cast, and it worked really well. Yeah, there was one clone voice, and he was doing stuff for all the clones.
Guy, yeah.
And he talked about how, sometimes I'd be a little bit high-pitched, and sometimes I'd be gruff, and sometimes I'd be normal.
Yeah. Oh, boy. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's tons to say. I mean, we said our piece about Rogue One and a little bit about that. I don't know. We talked for at length last year. Go back to the other 12 Days of Christmas for those.
Closing thoughts are, I'm not 100% thrilled with either of the new movies, but I'm still looking forward to the upcoming ones. They haven't lost me yet.
Hey, Nair.
They got my money, yeah?
Would you say that it started bumpy? The middle was lumpy? It took too long?
It did take too long for the plot to get in.
But characterization was not fine, so I kind of apply this to that.
Go listen to the Manimals Frictionary. Always a critic.
Frictionary.
Available now on SoundCloud. We got one more in.
We got it. We didn't get in? Okay, this is really messed up right now. It feels like there's a lot of saliva in here or something weird like that.
Oh, man. Don't I hate it when there's a lot of saliva.
I'm pretty, the harmonica is like the ultimate weapon of annoyance in a way.
You are correct. Keep playing harmonica. Our listeners will love it.
There's pretty much only one song I play on harmonica. I do it all the time. It's George Harrison, Apple Scruffs. Yeah, it's really messed up over here. I guess I need.
Can you play us out with some Star Wars music?
On the harmonica? No.
Okay, well, you tried, and that's the most we can say.
All right, everyone, tune in for another episode of 12 Days, Day 11, or whatever.
We got 2 more days coming up, and hopefully one of them features some better music than what just happened.
Hey, you know what?
I've heard your upcoming music. It's good.
You know what?
What?
He's my best friend. What? Do you know him? Do you know him?
Pardon?
Do you know what?
I don't know what.
Do you know what?
What?
Do you know what? He's my best friend.
Okay, can we take a quick aside for a moment?
Yeah.
When I was a kid in elementary school, one of the popular things was, you know, an idiot says what? Or a retard says what? A dumbass says what?
Yeah.
And because that got so popular and I would always respond with what, I had to willingly change it. So when I don't understand something, my go-to phrase is, pardon?
Oh.
And that was a great defense mechanism because people go say, like, a dumbass says what? And I'd just say, pardon? And I'd see it in their eyes that I had beaten them.
Oh, destroyed. And did you ever know the classic thing? Hey, are you PT?
You're a pregnant teacher?
Teenager. Or potty trained.
Oh, yeah, it meant multiple things. I'm glad to see that moves across countries.
Yeah, really. It's probably from somewhere, some movie or something.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that comes up. But do you know what?
What?
Do you seek Amy?
Who's Amy?
Tune in next time!